In the quiet hours before dawn, when even the most insomniac of us begin to succumb to fatigue, my phone buzzed with a notification. I picked it up without thinking, bleary-eyed and groggy. It was from YouTube, an alert for a new video on one of my subscriptions. That wasn't unusual. Content creators are prolific creatures, especially in the early morning hours when they assume their audiences are still asleep. But this time, something felt off. The thumbnail was black, except for a small white symbol, a stylized eye with a slash through it. I squinted at my phone, wondering if I'd finally fallen asleep and was dreaming. The video title read, 3:32 a.m. You won't believe what happened next. A timestamp from just moments ago. My heart picked up its pace as I hit play. The video started with static, then a shaky image of what looked like a bedroom. A clock on the wall ticked down to 3:33. The room was empty, but something about it made my skin prickle. It felt wrong. Suddenly, the door burst open. A figure stumbled in, collapsing onto the floor. I couldn't tell if they were alive or dead, but there was blood. A lot of it. My stomach turned as I watched, helpless and horrified. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the video ended. I checked the channel. It was called 3:33 a.m., with no profile picture or description. Just one video. The one I'd just watched. A cold chill ran down my spine as I realized there were no other subscribers. Yet, here I was, watching a video that shouldn't exist, uploaded at a time when no one should be awake. I tried to convince myself it was a prank, some elaborate hoax, but the feeling in my gut told me otherwise. This wasn't right. None of this was right. I spent the rest of that night staring at my ceiling, unable to shake off the unease gnawing at me. Sleep evaded me, and when dawn finally broke, I found myself drawn back to my phone. The video was still there, taunting me with its existence. I clicked on it again, watching the scene play out once more. This time I noticed something I hadn't before. A small mark on the wall behind where the figure fell. It looked like a symbol. I couldn't quite make it out. My curiosity piqued. I decided to see if there were any other videos uploaded at that exact same time. A quick search revealed nothing, so I widened my scope to 3:32 and 3:34 a.m. Still, nothing. But then, on a whim, I tried searching for videos uploaded at 3:33 a.m. every day for the past week. And there they were, 3 more videos from the same channel. Each one uploaded exactly at 3:33 a.m., each one showing something wrong. The first showed an empty hallway. Suddenly, a light flickered on, revealing a body lying face down in a pool of blood. The timestamp matched the video perfectly. It happened at that exact moment. The second was even more disturbing. A kitchen, late at night. A figure sat at the table, head bowed over something we couldn't see. Then, slowly, their head lifted up, and they weren't alone. Something was there with them, but I couldn't tell what it was, just a dark shape moving around the room. I watched each video 3 times before finally putting my phone down, heart pounding. This wasn't just creepy. This was impossible. How could these videos show things happening at exactly the time they were uploaded? It defied logic, defied explanation, and yet, there it was, staring me in the face. A pattern emerging from the darkness, growing clearer with each passing night. I tried to go about my day as normal, but the videos were always at the back of my mind, gnawing at me like a nagging doubt. I found myself checking my phone every hour on the dot, waiting for another video to appear. When it did, at exactly 3:33 a.m., I was ready. This time, I didn't just watch once or twice. I took notes. I froze each frame, zoomed in, looking for any clue that could explain what was happening. The scene was a road this time, dark and winding through dense trees. Headlights approached, growing brighter until they filled the screen. Suddenly, there was a loud crunch of metal, a scream. Then, silence. The car had driven off the road into a tree, and there it was again, the symbol. This time, it was spray painted on the side of the bridge overlooking the scene. A stylized eye with a slash through it, just like in the first video's thumbnail. I searched online for any information about this symbol, but nothing came up. It seemed I was alone in my obsession with these videos. No one else seemed to notice or care that something strange was happening at 3:33 a.m. every night. Then, as I was scrolling through YouTube comments, something I rarely do, I saw a name that made me pause. Unsubscriber 123, they'd written, "This is wrong. We need to stop watching this." Below their comment, the video's like to dislike ratio had shifted dramatically. I clicked on their profile, curious to see who else was paying attention to these videos. But there was nothing there. No other comments, no profile picture, just a blank user page. It seemed Unsubscriber 123 had been created solely for that one comment. A chill ran down my spine as I realized someone out there knew what was happening. They saw it too, and they were trying to warn us away the next night. I waited by my laptop, eyes fixed on the screen. As the clock ticked down towards 3:30 a.m., my heart raced with anticipation and fear. What would happen tonight? Would there even be a video? At exactly 3:33 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I hesitated, then picked up. "Hello," I whispered, aware of how foolish that sounded. Whoever was on the other end didn't respond. Instead, I heard a faint tapping noise, like someone knocking on a door. But not just any door. It sounded like it was coming from inside my apartment. I hung up, heart pounding in my chest. That's when I noticed it. The symbol, drawn-in marker on my bedroom wall, right above where my head would be if I were sleeping. The stylized eye with a slash through it. Panic surged through me as I realized what was happening. They'd found me. Whoever was behind these videos, they knew I was watching. And now, they were inside my apartment. I grabbed my phone and ran for the door, ready to bolt if necessary. But as I reached out to turn the handle, I heard it again. That soft knocking sound, coming from the other side of the door this time. "Who's there?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady despite the fear coursing through me. There was no response, only more knocking. Louder now, insistent. And then, a faint whisper carried through the wood, barely audible but clear as day. "Let us in." I backed away from the door, terror gripping my heart like a vice. This wasn't some prank or hoax. This was real, and whatever was on the other side of that door, it wanted in. As I stood there, frozen with fear, my laptop chimed with a new notification. Another video had been uploaded. At 3:33 a.m. exactly. My mind screamed at me not to look, but my body moved automatically. Eyes glued to the screen as the video played out before me. I stood there, trapped between the terror outside my door and the horror unfolding on my laptop screen. The video showed a bedroom, one that looked eerily similar to mine. A figure lay in bed, eyes closed as if sleeping peacefully. But then, the door opened. Shadows moved across the floor, growing darker until they consumed everything. When the room came back into focus, the bed was empty. No sign of the person who'd been lying there moments before. I knew what I had to do. I couldn't stay here, waiting for whatever was happening in those videos to happen to me too. I grabbed my coat, my phone, and my wallet, then turned towards the door. The knocking had stopped, replaced by an ominous silence that felt even more threatening. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what lay beyond. Then, I opened the door. The hallway outside was dark, empty. No sign of anyone else living in this building. It felt deserted, abandoned, just like those videos. I turned to lock my door behind me, and that's when I saw it. Another symbol, drawn on the wall next to my door. The same eye with a slash through it. My heart pounded as realization dawned on me. They knew where I lived. They knew which apartment was mine. Panic surged through me again, but I pushed it down. I had to stay calm if I wanted to get out of here alive. I started walking towards the stairwell at the end of the hall, each step echoing loudly in the silence. As I reached for the door handle, my phone chimed again. Another video uploaded at 3:33 a.m. Without thinking, I pulled up the notification, hitting play as I descended the stairs. This time, it was different. It showed a figure hunched over a laptop, watching something on screen with wide, terrified eyes. And then, slowly, their head turned towards the camera. I stood frozen on the stairs, my heart hammering in my chest as I watched the figure on screen turn towards me. It was me, or at least a version of me. My reflection, distorted and twisted, stared back at me from the laptop screen. Then, suddenly, something moved in the darkness behind me. A shadow darted past, too quick to make out what it was. I turned around just in time to see another symbol appear on the wall, the eye with a slash through it, growing larger, darker, until it seemed to consume everything around it. Panic surged through me again, and this time, I couldn't fight it off. I dropped my phone, barely registering the sound of it clattering down the stairs as I took off running. The building was silent except for my own frantic footsteps echoing off the bare walls. I could hear something behind me, heavy breathing, the scuff of feet on concrete. They were following me, whatever they were. I reached the ground floor, burst through the door into the lobby. It was empty, just like everything else in this godforsaken building. No security guard, no night manager, no one to help me. I dashed towards the exit, feeling their presence closing in behind me. As I pushed open the heavy glass doors and stumbled out onto the street, I glanced back one last time, and there, standing just inside the lobby, was a figure. With something dark obscuring its face, I ran. I ran as fast as I could down the deserted street, away from that building, away from those videos, away from whatever was chasing me. My lungs burned, my legs ached, but still, I pushed on, driven by pure adrenaline and terror. When I finally dared to look back, there was nothing behind me. No figure, no shadows, just the empty street bathed in the harsh glow of the streetlights. I slowed down, gasping for breath, trying to convince myself that it was over. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. Those videos, they showed things before they happened, and if they were real, then whatever was chasing me. I didn't want to finish that thought. Instead, I turned and started walking towards the nearest police station, pulling out my phone to call for help. That's when I saw it. A crack running through the screen, a symbol staring back at me, the eye with a slash through it. My heart stopped as realization dawned on me. They weren't chasing me. They were always with me. In my pocket, on my person, wherever I went. Because that phone, it was how they found me in the first place. I dropped it like it was on fire, backing away until I hit something solid, a wall, trapped. There was no escape. Not from this. And then, as if to confirm my darkest fears, a notification popped up on the cracked screen. 3:33 a.m. You won't believe what happened next. I turned and ran again, away from the phone, away from the videos, away from whatever was happening to me. But it didn't matter. The symbol was everywhere now, painted on walls, etched into windows, staring back at me from every dark corner. They were always watching, always waiting, and soon they would find me again, because they knew where I lived. They knew my name. They knew everything about me.